Musicians, I need to be on. Scooter, no, not at me yet. Yeah, that looks good. Hello, hello, that looks good. Okay.
So join the Zoom?
Yeah, go ahead. Select a speaker, MacBook. And then the sound needs to come USB or codec. Check. Hello, hello. Yes, it does on the CD org. Okay. And I think you should be able to hear me okay.
I'm hearing you good and I muted myself.
You hear me okay? Good. On the organ, I try the organic. Now go ahead and mute everyone. See if it brings me out.
Mute everyone.
Mute everyone. So I made you a co-host or a host?
I'm a co-host.
Wow, it says the host. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I just won't do mute everyone. I'll mute the people that are talking.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to let them in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here they come.
Hey, just in time, huh? Everybody's getting in here. That's a good thing. Let's see. Here we are.
Yeah.
What view do I want, Steve? Gallery? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So you're muting everyone. Hey, Joni, how you doing?
How are you?
Let me make you co-host just in case.
I need to turn this fan off. Turn it off.
There you go. So we got a bunch of stuff. I was talking to Robert earlier today. We got a bunch of stuff we're gonna try to cover that's totally different from what we've done. Cannot move up people who are spotlighted. I'm not trying to move anyone. Okay. Can you hear me okay, Joni?
Yes, very well.
Yes. Let me play something on the organ. Tell me how the organ sounds. Here we go.
Why don't you play something on the organ?
Sound okay?
You could pull it back a hair.
Okay, too loud. Yeah, I have it pretty strong. All right, let's try one more. Here we go. Sound good?
Sounds wonderful.
Great. Okay. So we're gonna limit the amount of stuff I'm doing because Robert says that I get it too complicated. So I'm gonna have to not become complicated. And there's a few things that are taking place, and I'm not ready to tell you exactly in what date or when it's going to happen. But I've been working behind the scenes on all kinds of improvements. For example, a lot of you, and I know because I deal with the questions every day. When you push 1 through 16, you're supposed to push a number yourself between the keys. So on this new update, when you pick 1 through 16, the organ will automatically pick one for you. So you don't have to ever worry whether you did it or forgot or whatever. So anytime you switch a style, it'll automatically bring the first preset into the effect. So you don't have to remember that. Singles still remain the same way. Um, so if you're playing a style of music and now you switch from a big band to a Latin, whatever registration you were on before, it will default to the new registration automatically. So that's a big deal. I love that. Steve Galloway, which a lot of you know, I mean, he's one of my key individuals in my Zoom lessons. He wanted me to make the motion sensor so you could just wave my hand and it would jump the registration. So that's already been taking place. Today we did a test on Steve's organ, and that's working. Mike Dipple wanted me to add transpose up or transpose down on the motion sensor. We did that. So if you're playing and you wave your hand, it'll go up a half a step. If you wave it again, it'll go up a half a step. The problem we had is that if I had a motion sensor recorded into my own presets, then you lost what you had told it to do. So we added on the lock area on this organ where you can lock the motion sensor. So whatever you tell it to do, it'll stay for the remaining where you're playing, or you turn the the lock off. We'll talk about that. So I'm just telling you updates that I've done. Uh, the other one is that we had a problem with the recording of a song, the MIDI. That also has been taken care of. Steve wanted me to mute the pedals so he could just lay your feet while he was playing and it wouldn't make a pedal sound. That's been updated. The registrations on all the category presets and all the song setups has also been updated. And I'm going to tell you what I did extra that is not in the original design of the organ. And what else? What else? What else? Loretta, we talked about this. Loretta was having a hard time with the live performance. The live performance is where you can turn the bass down or the treble off, and then if you push the preset, it would lose that wherever the person did on yourself. That's been taken care of. So whatever you do here, it stays to what your liking is for the duration of your playing the organ. So that was a big thing too, and some harmony updates that I've done as well. And I created another shortcut to access the edit mode on the style of music. Someone's coughing. I don't know who it is. Okay. So the update, once I get everything tested, because I don't want to have to have send it to you and then you do the update. Anybody that's near a Fletcher Music stores, I'm sure we're gonna find a way to get someone into your home to take care of that. I know here in California I can handle all of them, and there's a bunch of people in Arizona, and Robert can handle those. So let me play with this for a couple of days. I just did the update today at Steve's Oregon, everything working fantastic. But I want to make sure that everything is okay before I send it. So that's something that you should be looking forward to. And what I love
Wonderful.
about this is that all of these ideas didn't come from me. All of these ideas came from owners that own the product and were asking me, would you do this? Would you do that? Would you do change this? Would you add this? So it gives me great pleasure. I was talking to Craig this morning and said, oh, I know what's happening. The MK is for Mendes Knudsen, and the 5,000 is how many organs we're going to sell in the near future. I'm like, oh, Craig. So the 5,000 members have updated the organ. I said, Craig, you need to go back to sleep. I think you're crazy. So there's all kinds of things that we're working on. And then at some point, I have to stop taking requests because we'll never finish, Joan. It'll be, oh, do this, do that. Oh, can it just play by itself? Can it sound like me and I don't have to play? Oh, also on the MIDI recording, there's a way that you can loop them and it plays for hours and hours and all kinds of stuff. So today we're going to concentrate in some of the two additions that already exist on your product. Number one, we all have category presets. So I'm going to grab my handheld camera here and guide you through this process. This is a lot of fun to do. So, if Steve, you can uh, highlight the organ there. Yeah, I got it. So there's a button here that you see that it says overall setup. Now, just to get an idea of where it is, it's all the way on the right-hand side of the organ by the master volume, where the name of the organ is, and it says category. So when you push that, in the screen, you'll see all of this, and you're familiar with that. So before you tell me, I know, I said, no, you don't know. So hang on a second. So you're going to highlight the one you want. Let's say it's famous sounds, and you hit load, and then confirm. Now, oh geez, this almost has a minus its own. So when you do that, there is a time frame. If you don't do the confirm, and you see this, and then it goes away, you're too late. It's not going to work. So
Yeah,
load,
we know. You got to hit
load,
confirm before it goes off.
load, and hit confirm before it goes away. So if I'm going to do it the wrong way, Steve, this thing keeps turning on me. There we go. So I'm going to hit load, and you see that. 1, 2, 3, gone. It's not going to work. So load, and then confirm. And now it's good. Now, if you hit display mode, it'll tell you what's on each preset. So number one has a Harry James trumpet, and on the split, a Dorsey trombone. Saxophone on 2, Glenn Miller on 3, 101 strings on 4, Josh Shearing on 5, Hector Oliveira organ on 6, and so on and so forth. What we're going to discuss today is that there is a very Easter egg, which Craig refers to. So every time, if I now go to between the preset, it says preset number 1, Harry James. So I just push preset number 1. In that style, there's a secret where I have uploaded a style of music that works very well to play any Harry James song. And here's how you activate it. After you turn preset number 1 on, you're going to go here and hit the easy button. And lastly, the sync start button. Sync. Now, there's a style of music that I've embedded in the file with Harry James, with a beautiful intros and endings that you can play with single finger or your own chords and keep the Harry James trumpet. Let me demonstrate. Go back to the Mac there, Steve. So remember, when you first hit the Harry James preset 1, nothing happened. You have to play it all yourself. So if you go to the left side and then turn the easy button and then add the sync, here's what I have now for the rhythm style. So that's something brand new we've never talked about. Every time you hit a category preset name, the next one says romantic saxophone. Everything will be canceled, and then you'll have to go push the easy button and the synchro start, and then that's how it brings a new style of music into it. For example, let's do number 10. It's the Zamfir flute. So I hit number 10. All the rhythms disappear. There's nothing in the style of music. Reach to the left side of the organ, hit the easy button, and add the synchro start. So you'll still have the pan flute on the upper keyboard. But now I have a beautiful style that matches that music. So you can just play music with that. Here we go. So I want to make sure everybody understands exactly what happens. Every time you pick a category sound setup, in this case famous sounds, if I now go to 100 Glenn
Before
Miller, for
you,
example. Yeah?
before you go on, can you just name the name of that style for people?
Yeah, that the name of that style and the way that you find out what style I'm using is on the left side of the organ. Let me grab my camera here. Let's go back to the Osmo. When you do that, when you hit the registration, in the window, you'll see a style of music that's lit up. Are you? It's a spotlight? Okay. So see how it says ballad? If I want to see what it is, all I have to do is push the ballad and then go. Right now it says easy 8-beat. So every time I use a category preset with the famous sounds, and you change.
We can't hear you. Please speak to the microphone.
I'm sorry. So every time I pick one of those categories, there's a rhythm style built in all of them, but they won't become active until you hit the easy button and then the synchro start sync right there. So let's go, for example, to Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller is number 3. So in between the keys, push 3. The next procedure, hit the easy button. And lastly, the sync button, sync. So now, in that style that's called Glenn Miller, there's a style of music that I put in there called Big Band. Which one is it? If you push it, in the screen it says Moonlight Ballad. It's really an amazing thing, and I did it on purpose. I just haven't talked about it yet. And then I can tell you what you can do even more fun. So let's say you do like that style, and let's say that you do like all those registrations. You can lock that style of music by simply pushing the D button, and that's called disable. So now all of those sounds have that style locked into. So you can just keep changing presets in between the keys and play any song you like with that style of music. Again, how do I know what style I'm using? Push the style name, and in the window it says Moonlight Ballad. Moonlight Band, I'm sorry. So let me play one, and I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just keep playing. And look how wonderful it sounds. Here we go. It's so useful, and it's true on all the category presets. So to disconnect and start from scratch, then simply turn off the D button and then start from whatever you want now. So that's a huge, huge update on the product, and everybody has that. I just haven't talked about it. So it's kind of like a surprise in the background every time you change within a category, within those presets, you're gonna get a new style of music that I've assigned that works well with that sound. So now we talked about in the past about how you can edit the style, and I always told you that we go to the rhythm style, you push it, and then you go to the screen and you hit that rhythm style twice. There's an easier way. Let me show you what the easier way is. So let's go back to the Osmo there. So once I'm inside the style of music here, and I pick, for example, Latin, and then in the screen, just pick cool bossa, right? On this side, if you just touch the Latin again, it'll open up all the displays so you can change how much accompaniment 1, accompaniment 2, the bass, the rhythms. So it toggles back and forth. All I'm doing is keep pushing the Latin button, and it keeps shuffle between the name of the style and the edit mode, so you can go and take things in and out. You simply highlight the one you want, and with the tone wheel, you can decrease the amount of the volume, or if you push both at the same time, it'll cancel it. 0. Bring it back up, touch both of them again. Back to 110. So instead of having to push that bossa nova twice to get to that window, you can simply just touch the Latin button one time and you get the same effect. A lot easier to deal with. Well, that's a cool trick. And that is true on any style of music you pick. So if I now pick country, and then make a selection of Chetkins, if I touch the country button again, I now get the edit mode for the style of music. And of course, you see on the top all the sounds that I'm using on the background. The bass is a finger bass, chord 1 is a steel guitar, chord 2 is steel guitar 2, nylon guitar on pad, there's a banjo on phrase 1 and a harmonica on phrase 2. If you want to change those, just highlight your choice and then change it. There are over 500 sounds you can choose from. I wouldn't do that any of that yet. I'm more encouraged to let you make you changes in the how much the volume is on each one. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can ruin that style. However, it comes back by itself the moment you retouch it again. So if you haven't gone through the process of saving it, it'll always default back to what I wrote on the organ originally. So that's a good thing. So far, before I move to the next subject, do we have any questions there, Joan? If you can read on any of the comments that I need to address, because the next is a big deal, the next subject. So, anything there, Joni?
Not seeing any questions.
Okay. So the day has finally arrived where how can you save presets on this organ? You're going to be happy. If you had a Lowry organ, it's very similar, except there is one thing that you have to always remember on your left hand. On the left side of the organ, I'm going to go back to the handheld camera here. You have an M button, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and D. To save presets, I recommend that you use your left hand because you have to. You notice if I don't hold it, the light goes away. have to hold that button in, and then the procedure is what bank do you want it in, A, B, C, D, and then the number. So I can't do it because I'm holding the camera. So I'm gonna go to this camera here, Steve. Here we go, so you can see what I'm doing. So you basically go, are you here? No, I'm not. Okay. Right here. Hang on 1 second there. It's, I don't know what this is called. I think it's your name again. I can do it. Spotlight, replays. There we are. There. So watch the procedure. Once you set up the parameters of the organ, you pick the sounds you want, you pick the style you want, you pick the tempo you want, and you save everything how you like it. So here's the procedure. You're gonna hold the M button with your left, and while you're holding it, you need to push the letter A, and then the number where you want it. I'm gonna choose 1. That is now memorized into the organ. Now the procedure can be reversed. You could do memory, 1, and then the letter afterwards. But you can't let go of the M button. That's why the left hand is important. Left hand, the number 1, and then the letter. Either way works. Just like the Lowry organ, those of you who had Lowry organs, you can have 16 different presets on bank A, 16 different on bank B, 16 different presets on C, and 16 presets on bank D. When you save them, it takes all of them into that name that you're gonna call it. So 16 on each bank will be memorized as one file. Now currently, and we're not gonna have an update, if you forgot to name it and you turn the organ off, you lost your preset. So you have to be very careful that if you're working on presets, that you save them while you're doing it. Because once you turn it off, everything goes back to factory. The only way that you can save those is before you power down, you gotta go save it into the USB. So we can go through that procedure. It's very simple. You just need a regular USB stick. It doesn't matter what brand, what kind, how big, how small. This organ doesn't care. On previous models that you might have had before, if it was too big, it didn't work. If it was too small, it wasn't enough. This particular one is 8 gigs. The bigger it is, the better the organ likes it. It's all based on what you put in it, not what the organ can actually give you. So once I do this, in the window now, there's a new update. Instead of saying disk not ready, it actually now says, watch this. It says insert, sorry. Says insert USB. So once it says insert USB. Once I insert it, it'll say scanning, and now it says, this is a big stick. It'll say USB ready. That's another update we did. So it's really trying to make life easy for everyone. So let's go ahead and mock up and save a registration here. Let's assume that we like what's on 1. With the left hand, hold the M button. And keep holding it, then the letter and the number, or the number and the letter, doesn't care. So here we go. Memory, 1. into A1. Let's go back to this camera. You don't have to wait to finish them all. You can always go back and add. So right now, are you spotlight there? Yeah. Huh? This one. So now here's what we're gonna do. The stick is already in the organ. And then camera again. Oh, Steve, you're gonna kill me today. So on the handheld camera, we have an area here that says save registrations. You see that? Right here. Save registration. Right here. Save registration. Push it. And then in the screen it says record registration file. Sorry about this. Record registration file. And then it says next step. So you right next to there's a button. Push the next step. And then it says save new. Okay, so we hit save new. And at this point, what I would do is rename it. It was saved as registration 000. And if you notice right here, it says rename. Don't wait till you have 24 registration 000, 0001, 002. You'll never know. So I'm going to hit rename. And then you have all these letters. Let's call it test. So I'm going to write the word test. T-E-S-T. Says test. Says test right there in the window. And then I just hit the word rename. I'm sorry, save. I hit the word save. And now it went from registration 00 to the name test. If you go down to the TES, there it is, called test. I'm not going to keep it, so there's a word right next to it that says delete. So I'm going to hit delete. And then are you sure? Confirm. Yes. And now the test went away. It's a very different system, but it's a lot more powerful than any organ that we've ever had in the past. It works very much like a computer, renaming a file, deleting a file, going up or down the list. And then once you name it and you call it, then it's already inside that USB. It's pretty cool. We'll go back to this camera, Steve, there. Right here. So you got to be very careful that, you know, these classes, what happens, I get all excited, and then I want you to learn 25,000 things, and then no one learns anything. So I think today we talked about the category preset. We talked about the hidden style that I've built into there. We also talked how to get into the edit mode on the rhythm by just pushing the actual button on the rhythm. It'll open up that window. We talked about how to save a memory registration, and then how to take that settle that you saved and put it inside a USB. So I'm going to mention one more. It's the same. It's nothing new. It's the same thing again. Category presets. You push it. You pick the category you want. In this case, I'm going to choose Big Band. It's a different one. So let's go to Big Band. Load it. Confirm it. Remember, you have 3 to 5 seconds to confirm. If you don't, it's not going to work. So load it and then confirm it. Once you do, in the list it says jazz, guitar, and vibes. It's on preset 4. It doesn't have a style, but there is a style in the background. So we simply go to the left side of the organ, push the easy button, and add the synchro start. If you would like that style to remain for all 16 presets, then you push the D button, and now all of the presets will incorporate that style of music. I don't know if you can tell, I wouldn't recommend people making presets yet unless you're way, way, way ahead of the game. There's so much in this organ built in. It'll be a long time before you get tired of what's in it. And especially since you now discover all this Easter egg that exists behind the category presets. Next time we meet, there's an Easter egg also on song setup. Currently, song setup, the way you think it works, it only gives you one setup for the song. That's not true. It will actually give you 32 ways to play that song. So we can talk about that in about a week or so when we meet again. So every time you come here, I want you to leave with, wow, I never, well, you're not supposed to know that. It was not information that we really put in the book. It's all in the working of how I thought an organ should work and how a customer can get the most out of it without having to fight the machine. So that D button is going to be a really important asset for a lot of you. And then having to discover what's behind every single category presets, what's the hidden style that I put in there. And remember, once you pick the category, all you have to do is easy button and synchro start. That's all you have to do. And then I'm very good in picking a sound and assigning a style that works very well with that sound. And that's what I did. So you don't have to go start pushing 250 styles to see which one goes with it. I found the perfect one for you. And then just enjoy it. If you like it, oh, I love that style, then the D button will lock it in place. And it doesn't matter what you push on the organ. That style will never go away until you're finished. And then when you're finished, remember to turn the D off. Otherwise, then the whole organ will be Moonlight Ballad until you turn it off. So once I'm done experimenting with it, I just turn the D off. And then I want to take the time to just show you what I think is the most incredible invention that I wish I could take credit for, but I can't. And this was a suggestion by Steve Galloway. So if you're playing with 1 through 16, a lot of you that have Lowry organs, and Steve was one of those, he's not used to having the numbers between the keys. On the Lowry organs, they used to be here on the upper keyboard, and then we just push the numbers. Well, regular organs, for as long as I can remember, from even before Christopher Columbus arrived here, all organs have presets between the keys. That's normal. Now, you may not be used to it because that's the product that you've been playing for a decade, you know. So if you do that, what Steve asked me to do is say, can you add to that motion sensor so I can just wave my hand and then it will jump all the presets and all I have to do is do this and keep playing. And I'm telling you, and you can't try that right now because you don't have that, but you will. So all I'm doing is assigning to that button the registration advance, and then I'm going to lock that feature. So now watch what happens. I don't know if can you see in between the keys the numbers, Steve? Can they see the numbers? Okay. There we go. So watch as I move my hand over the bar, it goes to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all I'm doing is just keep playing. I wave my hand, and the next, it's unbelievable. I'm so impressed with that, and I can't take credit for it. Steve deserves all the glory for that. And he says, when I did this to him, he said that day that he normally spends maybe 40 minutes or 45 minutes a day. He said, that day, Marco, I spent over 3 hours playing with the organ. It was incredibly enjoyable, and I just had to, kind of like a conductor, I just wave my hand, and the whole orchestra changes its sound for me. It's fantastic. And you will have that very soon. But let me just make sure that I can try everything possible for me to screw it up to make sure that there's no issues. trying a different style, trying a different rhythm, trying category preset, messing around with the equalizer. I'm going to try to do everything I can to create a problem to make sure that you don't have that problem. But as of right now, everything's working great, and I love that. That's an incredible. I think for me, once I get used to, 'cause I'm not used to doing that. I'm very used to pushing the numbers, but that you can't beat that. Unbelievable. Isn't that nice? 9, 10, 11, 12. Fantastic. So any question there, Johnny? I see one little chat.
I am not seeing any
That was me,
questions.
Marco. I was just asking you to make me a co-host
Oh, okay.
because I have something I want to screen share when you're done.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're Robert. You're here.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. So I told them about what some of the things that you and I have talked about. I did tell them about the rhythm in the background where I select something that's like what I call the Easter egg. So when they pick a category, if they just simply turn on the easy button and synchro start, they'll have a style in there that I built into for that sound. We talked about how to edit the rhythm by just pushing the style name on the panel, and then you'll see it on the screen where you can manipulate those. And we talked about the D button, the disable button. And then I was just showing them some of the things that you and I are currently proposing for an update, but you and I are still making sure there's no bugs in it. So you can take it from here, man.
Oh, I like just one little thing. So someone asked for something like this. This is going to be this is just a little something, a helpful tool. It's not going to encounter every, because how many rhythm styles are in the organ, Marco?
250.
There's a lot of rhythm styles. Can you make me a co-host for a minute so I can do this?
Yeah, and I just made you a spotlight, so I'll
Yeah.
make you co-host.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. So what I did is I have a document here, and when I send out when I usually send out the links with the all the previous Zoom sessions, and I add this one in there. In that same email, I'm going to send an attachment, and it's going to look something like this. See if I get the right one here. And so, can y'all see that?
Yeah, I see that. Good.
Okay. So what it's going to have, you can kind of disregard this thing that's a standards country. That's just like a category. But right here, it says button name. Okay. And this number is just how it's listed in the manual. That's why it's there. But this is the button name. And if you scroll through that category, you find those rhythm styles. It'll give you some song suggestions for those rhythms. So for example, let's go down to Guitar Heaven. Okay, so if you see this one here, you go, this is the button name on your organ.
Right.
And then you scroll through within the rhythms and find Guitar Heaven. And then here's just some suggestions of songs that will work with that.
Right.
Now, these are just several suggestions. Obviously, you may think of others. So all of them are almost labeled in there. So, country, acoustic guitar, for example, and there's a few song suggestions. Easy 8-beat, a lot of people know that one. That's been around for years. But there's some good suggestions in there. So I'm going to attach this sheet. And I think what I'll do is I'll eliminate this red thing there. So
it's really
it won't be
good.
any confusion. But because I'm still working, I've been working on this throughout the day. So
So all of those styles that Robert just spoke about exist on a Lowry organ. So if you had a Lowry organ, all of those styles are also inside the Estey MK-5000.
yeah, some of them may be slightly worded a little bit differently. Like this says Roadhouse, for example.
Right.
It was Roadhouse Cafe before.
Right.
I I didn't put one for disco because you can use anything with disco. So you just
Right.
find, here's another one here, Wonderful 6-8.
Right.
Okay. Well, on the Lowry, it's called Wonderful World. Okay.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
some of them are slightly tweaked in the way they're worded, which makes sense because you don't want to get having to pay royalty or get into trouble legally, you know.
Right. Right.
So they have to tweak the word. So some of these styles basically are all very Lowry flavored styles, I call them.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to send that out. It's just a good starting point. You'll get, there's like 36 styles here and some
Right.
songs, 36 out of 250. Maybe eventually I have one for 250, but that might take me a couple years, so I wouldn't wait. Just but it's a good starting point because a
Yeah,
lot
it
of them
is.
are in categories. And for example, some of the 8 beats, you may see one of the 8 beat, you might go through some of the other 8 beats and figure out other great songs. Okay. So that I did that because there was a student that kind of wanted to have how, you know, using some of the styles and what songs to do. So that should be helpful. Okay. That's all I got, Marco.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then what is the plan in the next week or a week and a half or a couple of weeks, Steve? Robert will do another one.
We can do one every week if you want. Depends on your schedule.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, I'm more than happy to do this. There's so much in here, and I don't want people to just be happy. I want people to be ecstatic about what they own and how much fun they can have without even having to put anything USB in there. There's so much that I built into this that you should be able to enjoy it for years. Now, I know that we have the picky people and we have the geeky people, the computer people, and they want to do their own, and I want to do this, and then that's fine. It's very capable of doing that. But if you want to just have some fun for the next 6 months, and we meet every week, I can show you all kinds of tricks that you'll never have to even bother to do anything with USBs. There's always 7,836 registrations on this organ. So that's a lot. That's a lot of registrations. So, well, thank you for your time. I'm sorry it's very difficult to hold a mic and trying to do the best we can. This is not 20th Century or Universal Studios here. We're trying to do the best we can. And I think if once Robert sends you the link, then you might be able to just take that video and concentrate on one area. You can always hit pause and rewind a little bit. And so thank you for your time. Thanks for being here today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few tricks today, and looking forward to meeting with you sometime next week. So thanks again, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay.